Hello, everyone. I'm Madison, and welcome back to Tiny English Talks on Inkwell Stories. Sometimes we think learning English means knowing all the words, right? But here's a question for you. What if I told you that speaking English fluently isn't really about words? It's about feelings, how you express them, how you understand them, and how you connect through them. So today's episode is called Translating Feelings, Not Words. And trust me, this might completely change the way you think about learning English. But before we start, if you enjoy podcasts that help you grow and feel inspired while improving your English, please give this episode a like and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new one. All right, ready? Let's begin. When I first started learning another language, I believed that the secret was vocabulary. I memorized hundreds of words every week. I made flashcards, wrote them on sticky notes, and covered my wall with verbs, adjectives, and idioms. But you know what happened? When I tried to speak with a native speaker, I froze. All the words disappeared from my mind. Why? Because language is not only about what you say, it's about how you say it. It's about your tone, your emotion, and your connection with the other person. Language is emotion. Let's think about this. When you say, I'm fine in English, it can mean many different things depending on your voice. If you smile and say, I'm fine, it means you're really okay. But if you say it slowly, I'm fine, people might know you're not okay at all. See, the words are the same, but the feeling changes everything. When you translate feelings instead of words, you begin to sound natural, like someone who understands people, not just grammar. Why we often translate wrong. Many learners think translation is a simple equation. Word A in my language equals word B in English. But languages don't work that way. For example, in some languages, there's one word for love. In English, we say, I love my mom, I love pizza, and I love this movie. All with the same word, love. But the feeling is different each time. If you only translate the word, you might miss the heart behind it. That's why when you learn English, it's important to feel the language. Ask yourself, what emotion is this sentence trying to show? What situation would people use it in? This way, you don't just learn English, you start to live it. Speaking from the heart. Imagine you want to say something like, I'm sorry. In some languages, that word might sound very emotional, almost poetic. In English, I'm sorry can be polite, soft, or very deep, depending on your tone. When you say it from the heart, it touches people. When you say it just to translate, it sounds empty. So next time you learn a new phrase, don't only ask, what does this mean in my language? Instead, ask, how does it make me feel? That's how you begin to translate emotions, not just words. Your voice has power. Every language has its own rhythm and music. When you speak English, you're not only saying sentences, you're performing music with your voice. Native speakers use rise and fall, stress and pause to express emotion. Think about how you say, really? Surprised? Really? Serious? Really? Happy or excited? One single word, three totally different emotions. That's the beauty of language. It's not only the vocabulary that matters, it's your voice, your energy, and your emotion. Feeling connected through language. When we translate feelings, something magical happens. We begin to connect with people, not just talk to them. I remember once I met a traveler from Italy who didn't speak much English. But when he talked about his family, his eyes became soft and his hands moved with passion. Even without perfect grammar, I understood him completely because emotion is universal. It doesn't need translation. That's why I tell my students, don't aim to sound perfect, aim to sound real. because people remember emotions more than perfect grammar. How to practice translating feelings. Here are some ideas you can try. 1. Listen for emotion, not just words. When watching movies or podcasts, ask yourself, how does this character feel? Try to copy their tone when you repeat sentences. 2. Record yourself speaking. Listen carefully. Do you sound flat or emotional? Add life to your voice. Make your English breathe. 3. Use stories. When you talk about your day, don't just say facts. Add emotions. I was tired but proud, or I felt nervous but excited. These details bring your English to life. 4. Learn the culture. Language is born from culture. When you understand how people think and feel, you begin to use expressions more naturally. When you feel stuck, sometimes you may not find the exact English word for your feeling, and that's okay. Even native speakers can't always describe their emotions perfectly. In that moment, try using a story or example instead. For example, instead of saying, I feel nostalgic, you can say, it reminds me of when I was a kid and my mom used to sing that song. See? That's beautiful English, emotional, natural, and clear. The real goal? Remember, learning English isn't about sounding like a robot. It's about sounding alive. You don't need thousands of words. You need a few words that come from the heart. When you say something with emotion, people listen. They understand you, even if your grammar isn't perfect. That's what makes communication powerful. So next time you study English, don't just open your dictionary. Open your heart, too. Closing thoughts. You see, translating feelings instead of words is what turns English learning into English living. It's what helps you connect, express, and shine. So the next time you speak English, smile, breathe, and speak with emotion, because real fluency starts inside you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please tap the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Inkwell Stories for more inspiring talks that make your English and your life more meaningful. And by the way, you can find a free PDF vocabulary list from this episode in the description below. It includes all the key words and example sentences to help you review what you've learned today. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, don't just translate words, translate feelings. See you next time.